Hello and welcome to the 33rd installment of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, along with our co-host, Jordan.
That's me.
Say hello, Jordan.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How have you been in the last, 2 minutes?
I would be a lot better if you told us where we could find us. Where you can find us.
Would it really make you that happy?
Not really, but
Oh,
it would make the intro proper.
Okay, so let's begin. So, proper intro, commencing in 3, 2, 1. What was I supposed to say again?
You're supposed to give our platforms where you can find the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so you can find us. Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Breaker, Radio Public, Spotify.
There you go.
Pocket Cast,
You missed Spotify last time.
I did. I'm an idiot. As well as the RSS feed. Import it into your favorite podcasting app. Should that app support manual RSS, and you can listen to us wherever you'd like if we're not natively on that platform. And, Chris, most importantly,
Yes.
contact us or via email, synapsemisfire@pm.me, or via Instagram, via a DM, via Synapse Misfire. I wanted Synapse Misfire official. Chris was like, that's a little too boisterous. We're kind of small-time losers. We can't put official in the name. And I was like, you're not wrong. But yeah, that's how you can contact us. Comments, questions, concerns, death threats. And we said this in one of the early episodes, Chris, but we haven't reiterated it. Death threats directed towards companies. We'll read them.
Oh, for sure.
With Keurig. Remember Keurig? Remember the Keurig days? Times
Yes.
were much simpler.
Yeah, when I bought a Keurig, actually, I have had a run-in recently with a Keurig. I didn't buy it, but a Keurig for my office, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. The office you guys work out of.
The area in which I work, I now have a coffee maker there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. You know what I was thinking? We should make the Keurig into a short.
Oh, that's a good one.
I just don't know how. It's probably long, but yeah.
I'll figure it out.
You you got a Keurig, or not a Keurig, but another coffee maker. So
Yeah, coffee it uses Keurig pods, but it's not branded Keurig.
yeah, they had a Keurig there. I just seriously don't know why they got rid of it. It's
Coronavirus.
big sad, dude.
That was a thing with my last job too. They had a Keurig, but they had to shut it down for Corona guidelines.
Corona, yeah.
So
I don't see how that's much different than what they do now.
I
Anyway.
don't know. Like
So-
they had like single serve drink machines. Like if you go to like a fast food place, you can't use the drink machines a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because
When we went to AMC to see Tom and Jerry, yeah,
because of COVID. How was that, by the way, Tom and Jerry? It
was
looked
awesome.
so shit from the trailer.
That was awesome, dude. I love Tom and Jerry. It was good.
Okay.
It was cool. I like
I
it.
mean, like the cartoons are good, but like just the movie looked so like dog ass from the trailer.
Nah, man, it was Tom and Jerry, you know?
Saying that isn't gonna make the movie good.
The fuck
The
was
hell
that
was
noise?
that?
My phone went off.
You goon.
Shut up, bitch. It was Tom and Jerry, dude. They were hitting each other with shit. They were fighting. It did the typical child movie show trope thing now, where it's like almost like the hero's journey, similar, where it's like gonna start out here, going up, and then there's a big sad moment. Everyone fails, and then all of a sudden they save the day at the end. It did that. It's what kids movies do.
Okay, yeah.
What I will say is, was it a good narrative? No. Was it
a good movie? No. Did you enjoy it?
Was it a good movie? Was it awesome? Yeah, I fucking loved it, dude.
Okay.
I fucking loved it. It was now. Would I say it was worth the price I paid to get into the movie theater? I mean, not necessarily, but it was just a weekend thing. It was just like, hey, let's go see this. And
It's part
it
of
was
an
a good
argument
time.
we had. I was talking about the movie theater, and you were like, "Cost me." How much did it cost you?
cost like $30.
And you said it was $30 for 2 tickets.
Oh no, 40. Sorry, 40.
$40 for 2 tickets, popcorns, and drinks.
Yeah, popcorn and drink, singular.
So I made the argument that you can't go to a movie theater
And buy the
and
shit.
buy snacks and then complain that they're expensive. Movie theaters are notorious for having expensive snacks.
Well, and my argument to that is, I wasn't complaining. I was just stating that it was expensive.
Well,
because
we
you
were talking
can't go
about
to a movie theater without popcorn, man.
because we were talking about Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, which by the time this goes up, we may have seen.
Well, it releases March 31st.
It releases the 25th digitally, but to see it in theaters 31st. Yeah.
So I was saying we see it in theaters. I was saying we see it in theaters. It's too expensive. Too expensive to see it in the theater. The ticket, not even for a matinee ticket.
Listen, piece of
shit.
shit.
For like a full price ticket is like $13.
Listen, piece of shit. My point was, I just bought a projector. It's not incredible, but I thought it would be fucking cool to see it on a projector.
But
That's all I was stating.
But didn't go to the movies. You could see it on a projector anyway. And I also didn't know it released digitally. I thought you only could see it in theaters.
Bitch. No, yeah, of course. It's fucking Corona times. Of course it's digital.
Yeah, but like a lot of restrictions are loosening at the moment. People are getting vaccinated.
Sure. Yeah, loosening at the moment, and then World War III.
and then everyone gets vaccinated, and then
Zuck has the microchip in your blood.
Yeah. They activate the microchips, and then everyone becomes everyone gets COVID-20. They get the new COVID. And then Bill Gates takes over the world.
Something like that.
I don't know. I've read a lot of conspiracy theories, and they can't seem to agree on
what's happening.
What's happening with the COVID vaccine?
Conspiracy theories are arguably the most toxic thing about the world.
Oh, but they're so entertaining.
Well, they are if you have working brains, but the problem is most people don't, and they actually fall into believing that shit.
Unironically, I love Alex Jones. One of the most entertaining people on the planet. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah,
well,
but he's all about
conspiracy
theories.
Sometimes he says things that are verifiably true.
Yeah.
But again, like a lot of things he says, they're incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
That's like.
But that's the thing is, a lot of people can't take conspiracy theories at that value. They can't be like, "Oh, this is funny." They're just like, "You mean what?"
Well, it's like you can't.
Morons.
A lot of people take anything at face value.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that I hear that I'm like, okay, I'm going to assume that's true. It could be false. I don't really care. But I'm not going to look it up.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I'm like, is that true? I don't think that's true. I'm going to look that up. But, or they fall into, like, echo chambers, too.
Mm-hmm.
Where, especially with, like, anti-vax people, is like, you try to correct them. You try to say, like, here's 25 studies from actual scientists, actual reputable independent scientists, all peer-reviewed and whatever. And you can't find a single scholarly article about supporting your side. Do you think maybe you'll be wrong? It's, no, the government controls the internet.
Yeah.
What, like...
yeah.
Like, I appreciate your passion. I do.
At least they're, if they can apply.
I appreciate the dedication and passion. I can vibe with that, but maybe be passionate about something else, maybe like woodworking or art or
imagine
something.
Taking that much dedication and passion and putting it towards something productive.
Exactly.
Imagine what those people could accomplish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I admire your dedication. Just put it towards, like, I don't know, music, art, woodworking,
prostitution.
That would be healthier than whatever the anti-vax people believe.
But anyway, Tom and Jerry was pretty good. Yes, you're right, Chris. I boomered it for a minute, and I was like, "It's too damn expensive. These damn kids, this damn shit's getting out of hand." Yes, I boomered it. Should we see it in theaters? Sure, if you want to, I'm down. I don't care.
Well, I don't know how theaters work now. I haven't been to a movie theater in like 2 years.
So how it works now? You buy the tickets, you walk in, you sit down, and you just watch the movie. Every 2 seats on the side of you is reserved as empty, essentially.
Okay, so, yeah, I can actually vibe with that because I don't like sitting near people.
So, like, when we went to see Tom and Jerry, we sat in our middle seat, and then the 2 seats to my right and the 2 seats to Lexi's left were just reserved as soon as you reserve the seats, it blanks out those other 2.
That's fair, yeah. So, right, I don't know if you've noticed, Jordan, but I'm like a large person. Right?
I mean, yeah, I may have noticed once or twice.
So you sit in a movie theater seat, and you gotta kind of like, you kind of have to like narrow yourself out as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. And eat popcorn, so you're like...
Yeah, so you got like little T-Rex arms with your big bucket of popcorn and your big bucket of Diet Coke.
Like bucket of Diet Coke, yeah.
Because movie theater portions can't be normal. It's just a straight fucking bucket. And you gotta get the bucket because it has free refills.
Yeah.
So what I do What I do, Jordan, is I go and I get my bucket of diet soda, and I drink the whole thing during the movie. I take like a 20-minute piss, and then I get a refill, and then I go home with the big thing of soda.
Hey, you know something, by the way? I've texted you earlier and was like, yeah, it's not showing up in theaters. I figured out why. It's because, like I said, it releases digitally differently. So it is in theaters. However, do you know how long the movie is?
How long is it?
It's like 2 hours and 53 minutes.
3 hours, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So if we're gonna do this, we need to commit, because this is
How was the movie so long?
Let me pull it up to make sure. I think it was no less than 2.5. I want to say it was 2:47 or 2:53. Let me pull it up.
I gotta say, like, action, like, weird action
I'm pissed, bro. I am pissed.
Why?
When I pulled it up earlier online, it said 2 hours and 53 minutes. That was a typo.
Is it 1 hour and 53?
It's 1 hour and 53.
Okay, all
right.
right.
I went, okay. Now I'm actually not concerned, because when I looked it up, I even showed it to Lexi. I was like, this is fucking nuts. And she was like, you're really going to watch a 3-hour movie about fucking Godzilla and Kong? And I was like, I guess. But now on AMC's actual website, it says 1 hour.
Okay,
so
1 hour and 53 minutes. All right.
All right, that's
I was
good.
going to say, I don't know how I feel about dedicating 3 goddamn hours to this.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm a little relieved now. All right. Now that that's out of the way.
Especially because I'm not, like, a really big movie guy in the first place. Like, every time, I don't know how people, like, a movie, and I feel like this is a general consensus, is a very much like is very much like an end of the night thing.
Yeah.
You do whatever, you have dinner, or you go do whatever, and then you see the movie. Because after a movie theater, you get out of the theater and you're just tired. You're just like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Especially when you go, like, in the winter, you go see a movie for 3 o'clock. You see, like, a matinee, so the tickets are really cheap, right? You go at 3 o'clock, the movie ends 5 o'clock, 5:30, you get out of the theater, and it's dark. And you're like, holy shit, how long was I in there?
Yeah. Yeah. When we went to see Tom and Jerry, we saw it at, I want to say 12.
Like noon or midnight?
Noon.
Okay.
And we got out, and because 2 o'clock, it's not dark. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, in the winter, when you go for like the 3, the 4,
Yeah.
it's rough. You
Yeah.
get out and you're like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, it feels like you're in like a time warp.
It's like when you go to work in the winter, like where I get out at 5 now. When I first started in January, I would get out at 5 and it was pitch black, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened, dude? Like what?
What happened to me? Especially because the area in which I work does not have any windows. I don't have any windows.
You don't. Just drill through that wall. Just cut out that stone.
Okay.
Straight through.
That's probably going to get me fired.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to not do that so I don't get fired.
And just not have a window?
Yes.
That seems irrational. I'm obviously fucking kidding.
I'm just going to get a periscope. I am going to run it through that wall and run it up to the roof so I can just see outside. I can see the daylight outside.
Do you think anybody who listens to us actually thinks we're this fucking stupid?
Probably.
We did spend like 4 hours doing spark plugs and lights, but...
Well, yeah, that's just because I'm an idiot.
But fun fact about this show, about 85% of what comes out of our mouth is a joke.
Nah, I'm 100% serious all the time.
Clearly.
Like all those death threats I make, 100% serious. I'm a danger to society. I should be in prison.
See? Joke.
Yeah, sure.
You're not joking, right? Uh-oh. But anyway, yeah, we in case you didn't catch on, our plan is to see Godzilla vs. Kong, which is now luckily not 3 hours. I was actually a little concerned when I read that earlier.
So it's an hour 53. I was gonna say that's
acceptable.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do a spoiler cast. I don't know if it'll be probably not the whole podcast following. Maybe depends how much there is to talk about.
I don't know. Well, I don't know how much substance there's gonna be to this movie. I don't have very high expectations going into this.
Yeah. So we got that. But You know?
But it's a big monkey fighting a big lizard. How could you not want to see that?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of an idiot if you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm just just be honest here.
I think anyone who doesn't want to see it should be locked away because
That's how I
you're
felt
insane.
about what was another thing?
Batman v Superman.
The Meg, the movie with the big shark.
Yeah,
I was gonna see that in theaters and I just didn't get the chance. And I still haven't seen it out of theaters either. But I was like, that looks fucking crazy.
It's a shark, man.
Does it look good? No. Does it look like I would have a fun time watching it? For sure.
Well, yeah, that's like how it was with Tom and Jerry. Yeah, it's like, does it look good in quotations? Like, define good, you know? Like, I had a grand old time.
Like, is it gonna be a critic? Are critics gonna be raving about this one?
Dude, fuck critics.
No.
I literally hate critics with every piece of my soul. I will never base any judgment off a critic review. Their job is to be a piece of shit. Like,
well,
ultimately,
movie critics are like, I watch. Well, I don't really anymore, but I used to watch a lot of movie reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And like the shit that movie reviewers notice is like, you really have to be watching that movie to notice. You like, you have to be like, hang on, pause this frame. You have to go through every frame and be like, hang on, I'm taking notes on this frame. Like, I guess I notice certain things because like I kind of understand how production works in a movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have like, I'm full of things to say. I have a comment for like pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I point things out, but like there's a lot of things I just don't notice because you're not meant to notice it. It doesn't matter. Like,
it's a movie. Like,
yeah,
just sit down and
it's
enjoy
a fucking movie. Did you like it? No? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I hate critics for movies. I hate critics for games. When I say critics, I don't mean like YouTube reviewers. Like I'm
YouTube
talking about raw,
usually,
like Rotten Tomato. I'm talking
like,
about Rotten fucking Tomato.
Like movie and game critics on YouTube are usually pretty consistent and usually pretty in tune with what people playing the game want because expect. It's like, well, you got to think. You maybe shouldn't trust a review or hold less of a trust in it when someone gets a product for free or they're sponsored by whomever. They get an early review copy or whatever. That's why like a lot of reviews that come from like, and I'm not gonna shit on them just because but it's the first person I thought of, was like a lot of reviews I see from like Linus Tech Tips. It's like they were given this product. How are they going to think about it in a way? How are they going to think about it in a way of someone paying for the product? Yeah. Because obviously they don't have that experience.
Like I could, if someone gave me a fucking PS5, I could be like, yeah, man, the UI kind of sucks. Or I could, if I was given it, I'd probably be like, whoa, it's fucking epic, dude. It's free. Sick.
Like I could probably overlook this because I was given this product.
Yeah, but now I shell out $500 and
you need to think about the best reviewers are like the average person because like who I really love for reviews, and I feel like I've shouted out before. Who I really love is this channel Dank Pods. It's a guy who used to do a lot of like custom iPod builds of like the iPod classics. Yeah. But now he does like general audio reviews. Yeah. So like, but he is not sponsored by anyone. Like he's fully funded by like Patreon. So he buys everything he reviews.
Yeah. If he reviews an iPhone or whatever, he purchased it. Apple didn't send it.
So. Like his AirPod.
That's cool.
The AirPod Pro Maxes, the fucking over ears. He bought a pair of them. Yeah. He bought the pair, and then he had issues with it, and then it was brought up in his review, and he, like, or the he did like a wireless headphone kind of roundup, and he bought all the headphones. The Beans, he bought a pair of those. The Galaxy Bud Pros, he bought a pair of those to review. He doesn't get early stuff, and he's like probably the most unbiased reviewer. Yeah. Because he doesn't have any financial incentive.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Um, that is true. You don't. It's tough with sponsored stuff when someone's basically like, hey, I'm gonna review this graphics card. Thank you to Nvidia for handing it to me and saying use this.
Like, you have to think, right? If the company gives a reviewer a product and they give that product a bad review, they don't get free products to review anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, when someone is handed something to review, maybe don't take their word for what they're saying. Find a review from someone who bought it.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one. My dad's very much like this. I know that, but anyone out of like our friends or you or I don't usually check reviews before buying something. I prefer to, figure it out myself. So like the only thing I will check is like if a new game comes out that I know like, all right, I'm gonna get it, the day after. I might look and say like, how is the PC optimization? But like I never look and I'm like, that game Red Dead 2. I think I'm gonna look at a review, see how the story is, because I just don't know. But like I'll just buy it, and I guess it also depends too, because like with the beans I could return them. With the pros, I could return them if I didn't like them.
I look at reviews for a lot of stuff, but most of the time when I think of like reviews I look at prior to buying things is like Amazon reviews and like Steam reviews and stuff for games.
Sometimes I will say Amazon is the one thing I'll look at just to see like just basic stuff. I'm not like, it's gonna make my decision. It's just to make sure that I don't see anything that stands out as like bad,
A funny thing about Amazon reviews, I found out how like polar. For certain products, Amazon reviews are like very polar. Like, I needed a pair of boots. And I was like, hang on, I want to get something that's going to be like pretty decent, but it's not going to cost me $1 million. Because you can spend $200-$300 on work boots and, they're going to last a while, but they're $300.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to spend like $80-$90 on something tops. And I found for work boots specifically, there's 2 reviews. These are the best boots I've ever bought, and these are the worst boots I've ever bought. And no in between. So
no pros and cons, just pros or cons.
Yeah. That's I found that with the work boots specifically for some reason. So that's just a side note, but yeah, I do quite like Amazon and like Steam reviews because again, that's from people who actually paid for the product.
Yeah.
And if they have like, user received this for free. They have that, at least in Steam reviews, they have that message.
I should probably rephrase my previous statement about not looking at reviews. When I said reviews, I meant like video reviews. That's what I meant, because I do look at like Amazon or like, I don't typically look at reviews for a game, but I look at the rating. If it says mixed, I'll look at reviews. If it says negative, I usually just fucking forget it. If it says positive, I'm usually like, all right, I'll make my own decision.
Usually, if I'm going to buy a game, I'll open it, and if it says mixed, if I don't like have my heart set on buying this game, I just pass it up. I'm like, this looks like it could be cool. Mixed reviews, So.
Yeah. Or sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes after like buying a game, I'll look back at the reviews and see what other people are saying for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Like after I beat Metro 2033 again, I went back and was just looking at reviews. I wonder what people are saying. So.
Well, because that definitely, especially if you're playing something and then you see a review of it while you're playing it, or like while you're in the middle of trying to play the game, it can kill your vibe sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, man, I just never really thought about it that way, and I guess maybe they're kind of right.
It happened with Cyberpunk for me.
Where you kill your own vibe.
I was like into it when we were all hyped up for it, and then like I like got close to beating it, saw some reviews, and I was just like,
man,
this game sucks. It's like mob mentality almost.
Man, yeah. I mean, well, because you kind of think, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna go. I'm definitely gonna go back to that game. But this isn't about Cyberpunk. Can we not talk about Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely kill your own vibe on things. But yeah, there's like that's why I didn't. That's why I didn't like. I wasn't into the beans. Because I'm like, it's a weird looking headphone. I bet they sound fine. But the reviews I saw were
Man.
Where
And even I was like, they're shit.
yeah, but I do plan on getting Galaxy Bud Pros at some point. I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
I just it takes a lot out of me to shell out $200 on something, you know.
Yeah. I'm very much like a try for myself kind of person. Just because nowadays, anyway, because refunds are a lot easier. Like, the only thing I won't... So, let me put it this way. If there's like a console game, I will look at reviews. PC, almost never. You can get refunds easily. Steam takes like a day and a half. PS4, if I end up buying a game for the PS4, I'll look at reviews. Because I'm like, yeah, once I buy this, I'm kind of locked in. Or Uplay. Uplay is another one, because as soon as you download
Uplay's really shit with refunds.
As soon as you download the game, you void your refund.
Yay.
So I'll look with Uplay. So like I didn't do it with Valhalla just because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like it. I know I will, but as long as it runs well. But like with the Ghost Recon game, I did. Still didn't like it, but regardless, I'm usually like a try it. You know, I like to try.
Well, yeah, with games, it's like it's a different animal, because especially if you order something like a physical item, then you're like, oh, I have to put this back in the box, I have to ship it back, it's a whole fucking thing, right? So
with a game, you click a button. I don't mind so much with physical items. It also depends on the value of the item. So
yeah,
I just like with the Galaxy Buds Live, the beans, I was just like, sure, let me try them. If I don't like them, return them, and that's what I did. I got them, tried them for about 4 days, and then I was like, bye.
Yeah, so. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely like a whole thing, especially like, well, because if you buy, this is why I don't buy a ton of stuff on eBay anymore. It's because like eBay isn't really good with returns, because you're dealing with like sellers,
a person,
like, a person rather than
Amazon,
a company or like Amazon or whatever. Because like if you return something via Amazon, you can just request a refund and then. Yeah. You get the refund. You send it back. You get a label, and you send it back.
Yeah.
But with eBay, it's like you have to message the seller, hope they respond, hope they approve the refund, and then you have to figure out shipping, and you usually have to pay for shipping. So.
Yeah. I don't really shop anywhere besides Amazon, Walmart, all the basic bitch shit.
I only go to eBay for like.
Funny shit.
Yeah, for like Chinesium stuff, where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for this, but like. If it's not, I'm not expecting it to be good.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I meant to bring this up last episode. It would have been a really good segue for Metro, because my idea for this in my head stemmed from my Metro replay. And you mentioned something that's going to sound similar, like weeks and weeks ago, but I'm going a different direction with this, where I say I want more games where you aren't the hero.
A long time ago, yes, I did mention
you were
this.
talking about being a villain. However, my perspective on it is I don't want to be a villain, but when I say hero, I mean like an action movie hero. So Metro,
you just want to like kind of be a guy.
Be a guy.
Okay.
Because Metro, right, was I replayed 2033, and I was like, man, there's so many instances in this game where it does that niche thing and that like cliche thing where like. You crawl through a door with your teammates behind you, and then it shuts, and they're like, you're on your own, survive. And I'm like, bro, like, can I just play a game where I'm like a grunt? I'm a soldier, and I'm fighting around other people, and like, I'm not this hero who's going to save the universe, or has these abilities, or can fight off 10 waves of people by myself. Like, I just want to be a guy, like in Metro. I want to be a guy who's just as vulnerable as everyone else.
I mean... Kingdom Come Deliverance is kind of like that. You're just like
a peasant. You're just
guy.
A dude, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I recommend playing it because it's very frustrating to get a hold of.
I played like 10 minutes of it and refunded it.
Bro, I'm saying genuinely, because I played a decent amount of that game. Like I played like the first 8 or 10 hours of that game. Genuinely. If you have players that are like 8 or 10 hours into a game and they can't wrap their heads around the fighting mechanic in a game where fighting is like one of the main things you do, you have not made a good game. Yeah. You have not done a good job. And I'm not saying this because I can make a better game. I'm just saying it's not my job to make a game, right? But if you have players where like, oh, I don't understand how this combat works and I can't win any fights.
That's a problem.
then you've made a bad game.
Yeah.
Because like even like difficult game like Dark Souls, the combat is pretty easy to get a handle on.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to it's just slightly more involved. But like in Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's like you have to like it requires you to think it out in such a way that the combat should be slow, but it always ends up fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a poor way of explaining it, but you have to like select a direction where you want to move your sword or whatever, and then you have to like plan it all out in a matter of milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite impossible to get your brain around.
It's supposed to be hyper realistic, but at the end of the day,
it just makes
sword
it
fighting
shitty.
is not easy in real life, and there's a reason people practice for years and years and years and years.
Exactly. There's a reason why swordplay in video games is unrealistic.
Click a button, do a thing.
I would say the perfect medium, the perfect happy medium with that was like Chivalry.
Or like Mordhau, yeah. I was going to say Mordhau, which is
so
like
basically Chivalry.
which is just a better Chivalry, yeah.
So like Chivalry, where it was a matter of like, yeah, it's a little more involved, but it's not like really realistic sword fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can do different moves and stuff, and you can aim
at different parts.
and different things will happen.
Different attack speeds. And
it will be like contextual, and like it's not like just mash a button.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but yeah, I just that's a good point. I didn't even think about like a game like that, like where you're just a dude. I don't know. There's just something about, and it's just games from that era, like 2033, where you're just like, you're this dude. Like Call of Duty does this a lot, where you're this dude, and you're with a team, and like everyone on the team is like separated, and you're like, I'm the lone wolf. I'm gonna destroy everyone. Like I just want a game where like
you show up and you just mop the fucking floor.
Yeah. Like, I just want a game where I'm part of a unit, a team, and I just kind of do. I'm just part of that team. I do my role. I don't have to be this action hero. Like, there's just a lot of that in, like, first-person games specifically.
Well, I'm just saying, if you want a game where you're just as vulnerable as anyone else, and you're not going to like me for the suggestion, but the Soulsborne games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just as vulnerable as anyone else,
mm-hmm.
and people and enemies fuck you up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm mostly referring to from a narrative perspective, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not so much saying like I want to die in one hit or like be able to just get picked off instantly like any sort of average NPC. But I mean like, I think Red Dead 2 does a okay job of like that kind of thing where like there's a lot of moments in that game where you're like, bro, these like 5 outlaws would have been fucking destroyed in real life.
Sure.
But characters can drop at any moment in that game, like main characters in the story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like in games, first-person shooter games with a narrative, or even like third-person action adventure games where it's like you're part of a team, and like, you know, a bomb fucking blows up the vehicle you're in, and like you're one of the only survivors. The whole team gets wiped out, but your character's alive.
There was a drone strike. The Humvee you were in got completely obliterated. Everyone inside was liquefied. Literally.
But you're
liquefied,
like in the woods bleeding.
But you're okay.
Yeah.
You just walk out perfectly fine.
You gotta run from the enemies bleeding and blah blah blah. But
you gotta run away while there's 36,000 soldiers shooting at you.
Mm-hmm.
There's tanks. More drone strikes coming behind you. There's people with RPGs. There's dudes punching you in the back as you go.
But what's funny is like the reason Metro made me think of it too is because Metro, I don't know. Well, you haven't really played it, you said, but 2033 starts out as you're literally a guy.
Just some schmuck.
You're just a dude living in the Metro, right? And by the end of it, and by like 20 Last Light, I'm sorry, you're like this dude who has like a special connection to this. I'm trying not to spoil it, but basically this creature, and people around you die, and they're always like, because your main character's name is Artyom, they're always like, oh, Artyom, you're the only one left to complete the mission. It's like, bro, just fuck off. Just, can I have a game where I'm part of a strike team? And yeah, the narrative takes turns, and some strike team members die off, but like, at the end of the day, we're all an equal, capable operative who's working as a unit, and not just like, hey, here's our unit, but we need you to be the main guy who's just badass. That's
yeah. I don't know if video game AI is up to that sort of task though.
Up to snuff. Well, the closest game I can think of that has really good AI for that is The Last of Us 2 was pretty good at, but God of War with Atreus. He has a really good AI balance.
Decent AI, yes.
Comparative, I mean, I say good, but comparative to other games, decent is probably a better way to put it.
Well, that was one of the things that I was thinking about when I was starting to play God of War, where I was like, God Christ, I gotta haul this stupid kid around, and the kid turns out to be pretty useful.
And just kind of does his own thing, and then can save your ass like when you need it. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just like I just want a game where I'm just like a character in a world who, like, at any moment, like Metro's a big one. Again, I keep bringing it back to Metro, but that's because that's what is most recent on my mind. Is like you get captured a lot in that game, and you escape like military bases, and I'm like, bro.
Well, I'm thinking of maybe State of Decay is kind of like that, where
you can just die.
You can just be anyone, basically.
Yeah.
So you can just die.
State of Decay is like one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm so excited for the third one. I am so excited for the third one.
I played the first one a decent amount, but I don't think I ever beat it. Like, I would just play it just because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go run around and kill zombies today.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like that aspect of it, and now that it's, like, on PC, I say now, like, it's a new thing. It's been on PC for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on Game Pass?
State of Decay 2 is.
Interesting. I'll have to check my wares. I may even have a copy of State of Decay.
State of Decay 1 was really fun. State of Decay 2 I thought would be better just because there was supposed to be more of a narrative focus, and there was. But I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. But State of Decay 3, I just really want a narrative in that world, man.
I wonder how, I wonder if I can sign in on my 360, if I can sign into my old Xbox Live profile, because I still have access to that account. I still use that account. If I can sign into that and then install State of Decay. Because I have the first one on 360. I bought it digitally.
Oh, really? Ooh, that must run like ass.
I'm sure it would.
That's such a PC gamer's game, I feel like, too. With the way the game operates, it's so good on PC.
But I don't know. I'll check my wares. Like I said, I might even have a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many games where I'm scrolling through Steam, and I'm looking through games, and I'm like, I own this?
Oh, it says in library. Yeah.
I own this game? When the fuck did I get this? That happened, like, XCOM 2. I bought it. I didn't buy it. I got it from a Humble Monthly, I believe. And I was scrolling through because someone in my group chat had mentioned XCOM, and I was like, huh, it's $4.99 right now. What is this? What is the deal with this? Oh, I own it? When did that happen?
Yeah. That's funny. I can't wait for State of Decay 3. That's one of the games I'm like super hyped for. I just really hope they perfect it this time. I hope, man.
Was State of Decay 2 any good? Was it like more of the same from the first one?
More of the same, but much improved.
Because I
cooler map for one.
I liked the first one a lot. I like really like visceral like melee combat.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked that a lot.
Yeah, State of Decay 2 is really good. It has like an actual story you can kind of follow, which is nice. There's even a DLC that's specifically story based, which is also very cool. I know it's supposed to be a sandbox game, and I'm probably in a minority, but like I like the State of Decay concepts. I just want a narrative around it, a strong narrative. That's my opinion anyway. That was the only thing about the game I've ever been like, yeah, this is cool, but like, how much can I just build up my base and kill stuff and loot? Like, I want some flow, a direction, you know? And I hope State of Decay 3 does that, because State of Decay 2 leaned more into that. So.
Well, yeah, I almost agree, where I like... I like sandbox games. I love like survival crafting games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them just don't have like an end game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Like 7 Days to Die is really like this, where there's no narrative around it, and I don't know if they're at it. I haven't followed the development of that game in a long time. But it was like you start a world, you spend, I don't know, 50 hours in this world, and now you have everything you could possibly want.
Yeah.
And now what's the point? You've just basically won.
Yeah.
Like there's no point in by the time you're at like day 50 or day 60, you're like, man, there's nothing really left
No
to this
substance
game.
left. Yeah.
Like even like Minecraft has an end game you can go to.
Yeah.
So, you know,
My one of my biggest problems with State of Decay 2 was the way its end game worked, where in like Minecraft, right, you defeat the Ender Dragon, you get your credits, and then you just keep playing. State of Decay 2 was you would end your legacy, so you would embark on like a big scale mission, right? And then it would delete your save.
what?
It would delete your save.
That's fucking
So
stupid.
so what happens is you assign your main community member a role, and say that role is sheriff because that's the one I've done. What happens is you do your missions around that character, you get to the end game, and it's considered the legacy mission. And once you complete it, it deletes that save, puts that community on a card, and then when you start a new community, you can import that card to then get bonuses in this new community from that card. But it deletes your fucking save.
That's so stupid.
And you can't like save to a different slot and then load back after you beat it just to keep playing. It just deletes the community. But it warns you, but it's stupid.
That's ridiculous. Even games where there's like you go past the end game and there's no coming back, right? It's like games where like the main character dies. They have a recourse for the end game after you
whether
beat
it goes
the game.
back in time or
Yeah, like
Infamous.
like
Infamous did that,
Cyberpunk had that. You go back to right before the last mission.
Mm-hmm. The Infamous games did that too. So, what other games?
Breath of the Wild does that. Not like you die or anything, but like there's technically no threat after you finish Ganon.
So then it goes back.
So it goes back to right before you defeat Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Dead games are like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just
take over another
character. So, you know.
Yeah. It just straight up deletes your save. That's my biggest complaint about it.
So it's a game meant to be played multiple times.
Well, yeah, there's 3 maps as well that you can play on. So it's meant for you to do like at least one each map plus the DLC. So it's cool. They also have a wave survivor mode, which is also cool. I just want like a narrative that flows and makes sense, and like it does pretty good with that, except for the ending.
Is there a game? Is there like a system in that game of like morality? Like, can you make choices and like people respond differently based on what choices you made?
It's not incredibly flushed out, but it's very basic. Like, hey, this person needs help. Do we help them? Or hey, we could rob these people, or we could not, and then that might, maybe make another community angry, and they can attack you and shit like that. Nothing incredible. Not like, hey, let's do this, and there's going to be repercussions down the line. Like, it's not quite that in depth. But I'd say it's a little more open-ended than a Telltale game.
Well, Telltale game was like, okay, I made a choice, now one character dies, and then the same character that can also die
just takes their place.
Gives the same lines.
Yeah.
And takes the same role.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Which was stupid. So Telltale games on the surface are kind of cool for that reason, but then if you want to replay them multiple times, you don't get any differences. That's the thing. Versus like what Dying Light 2 is supposed to be, where the whole game narrative kind of changes. Gives you an actual incentive to play. Which I wanted to bring this up. I'm so nervous, Chris. I'm so fucking nervous. I meant to bring this up last episode.
Why are you whispering?
Because I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Dying Light 2 was delayed indefinitely for, I want to say, like 4 months ago. The developers tweeted that this week, so technically last week from when this goes live, they're going to make a big announcement about development plans.
What they do is they go, There actually was no game.
If they cancel it, this might be the last episode you hear my voice.
You just kill yourself? Is that it?
No, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do. This just might be the last episode that you hear from me.
Okay.
So, no, I just listen, man. This is easily like I fucking can't wait. I need Dying Light 2. I loved the first one, and it's easily, in my opinion, okay, no one get offended. It's the pinnacle.
I'm offended already.
Ah, shit. It's the pinnacle zombie action adventure open world game.
Saying this from someone who hasn't completed the story at all, I agree.
It's just the best one.
I love the combat in that game. Like I said,
Drop kicking.
I love visceral, like, melee combat.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite things about Cyberpunk, was the melee combat.
Yeah.
Was great.
Yeah.
I love shit like that, and I loved the combat in that game.
I love how you scolded me for talking about Cyberpunk, and you've brought it up twice since then.
Sorry.
Bitch.
I apologize.
I don't care.
I'm a failure.
Kind of like Cyberpunk.
No, they had a lot of records, like record download levels and then record refund levels.
Most day 1 downloads, most day 2 refunds. Fucking love it, dude. Fucking love it.
That's upsetting.
Anyway, yeah.
What if, Jordan?
Yep, go ahead.
Consider this, and you might not like me for this.
I probably will.
But consider, Jordan, what if they make an announcement, they say, this is it, we have a release date. It's going to come out in 2 years, right? And they hype this up over the release date, and then the Cyberpunk thing happens. It keeps getting delayed, and then the game comes out, and it's just underwhelming. What do you do then?
So here's the thing, right? Is that's definitely a possibility, right? Because they've promised a lot when it comes to choices. However, what I will say is the foundation of the first game is already set. So as long as they can match that level, they really can't fail, in my opinion, for me personally. Cyberpunk didn't have a foundation to base it off. They tried to be fucking GTA and substantially failed.
Well,
That's the issue.
but the bar that studio had was The Witcher 3. The bar who's the
Headland.
devs? I forget. The bar they have
It's Dying
is
Light 1.
Dying Light 1.
Exactly.
I would say the bar for Cyberpunk was not met.
Yeah.
They can always descend in quality.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
So
What's your plan?
So if they were to descend in quality, which I should have probably rephrased what I said 5 seconds ago. What I meant was I don't think it's as hard to achieve Dying Light 1 quality. Because if you think about the assets behind Dying Light 1, it's, I'd say slightly above average narrative, but good combat, good open world exploration, good parkour. The Witcher, however, was a massive, sprawling, fantastic, perfect RPG. That's
Yes.
a lot harder to match than just saying, I want to do jump spins and cool kills. Because that's really
That's
what Dying
true,
Light is.
I guess, yeah.
So what I meant by that was to match the quality of Dying Light 1 is not going to be nearly as hard, I want to say, to, surpass The Witcher 3, the biggest RPG of all time.
But you still haven't answered my question. What is your plan for if it's bad?
My plan is to do what I did with Cyberpunk, stay off the internet for a couple weeks, let it all blow over, so I don't make myself any angrier, and then move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Because when Cyberpunk flopped, I literally stayed off the internet for about a week and a half. Because everything I scrolled through was just Cyberpunk this, Cyberpunk that. It's like our channel, how we just talk about Red Dead all the fucking time.
That's true. We do that a lot.
But at least we don't bitch about it every 5 minutes, dude. That's the problem. Is everywhere I would go on the internet was like, this new article about Cyberpunk devs being sued, and this article about Cyberpunk devs killing themselves. Like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
Every employee at CD Projekt Red all just commits like a Jonestown-esque suicide.
Yeah, that's like literally the type of articles I was seeing, dude. Like I would, Mr. Who's the Boss? Mr. Boss FTW, what's that channel?
That fucking like shitty GTA YouTuber
That shitty
guy.
GTA guy, right?
Yes, I think
like,
it was Mr. Boss or some shit.
It was basically him in article form. So where he has his clickbait, where like
just the worst shit.
Where
just like what's the term I'm thinking of? It's
clickbait?
just like no, it's just like I'm thinking like bloatware, but for articles. Like it's just completely unnecessary and just shoved in your face for no reason.
Yeah. It was basically, right, it would be articles where everywhere I scrolled, whether it was Reddit, whether it was Google News feeds, it was just basically like, CD Projekt Red stock drops 700%, or CD Projekt Red this, or like, bro, just fuck off.
There's no reason to make this, so why?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a state of like YouTube content.
Yes.
And a lot of journalistic content.
But the thing about the why is why? Clicks.
That's true.
Because Cyberpunk flops and now everyone's like, click, oh, Cyberpunk. Like, just fuck off. Same thing with The Last of Us 2. I literally deleted all social media for like 3 to 4 weeks until I beat the game. Because it was, lesbian characters this, shitty narrative this, killing off main characters this, game sucks this.
I remember I read a little bit into
I
read a little bit into the hate, and I'm like,
I
don't understand where this is coming from, and I don't really care. So,
yeah.
so I just stopped intaking this information.
Exactly.
My brain just refuses to let it in.
I still get upset when I think about what happened at GameStop when I was there fucking picking up the game for my pre-order.
Oh yeah, the guy that was like shouting spoilers, right?
Yeah. Dude's just sitting there in line. He's like, I heard mixed things about this game, the spoilers that release, and then starts talking about them. Like, are you a fucking moron? Like, that'd be like me finding out about like Red Dead 2 and that midnight release I went to, just screaming it.
Think about this, Jordan. Right. You have a really sad life. People don't really like you. And they don't give you like a lot of attention. You don't have any friends. Your dogs all ran away because they don't like you.
Because you smell.
Because you smell like old onions. You don't really shower much. People don't like to talk to you. They don't like to look at you. And you're unhappy with this. And you want attention. You want people to look at you. They want people to look at you because that's all that matters to you at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you try to get reactions by pissing people off.
Yeah. AKA a troll.
Imagine that, Jordan.
Yeah. Imagine
and then you
sad.
Can see where these people are coming from. It's like all the people who are posting like Star Wars spoilers.
Yeah, like you're just a sad, desolate fucking human being.
You're just like at the end of the day, I can go home to my dad who actually loves me, and then and they can't. So I have a family and friends that love me, and they don't.
And they just sit there.
So at the end of the day, who really won here?
No, man. That guy in the line too. And you know what's funny? He was the same guy that I got the collector's edition. I think I talked about this, so just briefly. I got the collector's edition of the game, and he got the standard edition. I was loading it in my car because it was a big box, and he like said something to me, and I just drove off. I was just like, yeah, and just drove off, dude.
Okay.
Like, he was like, oh, you went all out in the collector's edition. And I was like, yes, I spent $150 and just drove off.
Yes, and you just move on.
Oh, shit.
That happens. I do that shit like anytime. Because I guess this happens in the South a lot, where like people just speak to strangers. And it's fucking weird for me.
That's a little weird for me. If it's just a regular thing.
So when just a random stranger says something to me, I'm like, okay, and then I move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like
kind of acknowledge it, but don't.
You're like a perfect stranger. Like I'm not gonna. I don't wish to speak to you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your game is, man. I just get away from me.
It also seems to happen more in COVID times, weirdly enough.
Really?
Like for me anyway, it's like, bro. You didn't talk to me when there was no pandemic. Now there's a pandemic, you want to suck my dick. Like, get out of here, bro.
You want to be, like, right up on me, breathing all in my air.
You want me to take my lungs out, and you want to blow them up like a fucking balloon.
You just want to, like, be around me, like, cough on me.
Give me a nice pat. Like,
take a syringe with COVID in it and inject it right into my brain.
Give me a COVID suppository.
COVID suppository.
Anyway. as you were saying.
No, people don't like. I don't like. I don't
Random
like people
confrontation. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is a little strange.
Especially like if I'm in public, I'm already like kind of uncomfortable all the time. It's like I don't want to look at anybody. I don't want to speak to anybody. I just want to get what I need to do done and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, like I'd say for me personally, right? Like I'm kind of like that. For something like this, I'd say it's just slightly different because I'm not like on a mission going to buy something. Like I'm buying a game, but I'm surrounded by other people buying the same game. So it's like you have that in common. So for him to say something's okay, it's not as weird as like people at the gas station be like, well, how you doing, man? Like, all right, just fuck off.
Hello, I leaving now.
Yeah, I'm out. But I do see what you're saying. Like if I'm at the store, like Walmart, and someone's asking me, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, can you not?
Don't care, didn't ask.
Bitch.
Unless it's like, I guess this doesn't happen to you, but I guess it's like when little old ladies are like, hey, can you reach that up on the top shelf for me?
And you're just like, you just care her. You're like,
well,
yeah,
that's the
my
thing.
face, bitch.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is like I can't offer my help to you, but if you ask, I must oblige.
Yeah, you can't say no.
Such is the way of the Giants.
No, dude. Way of the Giants.
Like if it's like, I'm not gonna offer to help you, but if you're like, hey, can you reach that up at the top shelf for me? I'm like, yeah, I can do that for you.
So what you're saying, Chris, is if a perfectly good stranger just walked up to you and was like, hey, you wanna, suck my dick, you'd do it?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying this only applies to reaching things on high shelves, Jordan.
You didn't specify that, man.
I didn't, but I thought it was implied by me saying such is the way of the Giants.
Giant man, giant cock. I mean, Huh?
I just that didn't even register on audio. I just gestured.
Yeah, I know, that's what's funny. Everyone thinks you're silent, but really you just looked at me like you were like, you wanted to say the get out bit, but like actually enforce it and say it prematurely.
I wanted to say things, but there was so many. That lamp's not even plugged in. What are you doing?
I thought it was.
There was so many things trying to like
Synapse.
formulate, and nothing was happening. So
Yeah.
I just gestured.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Speaking of The Last of Us 2, though, briefly, there is a leak / rumor /
The Last of Us 2 2.
The Last of Us squared.
The Last of Us 2 squared.
That there's a new DLC coming out. And
Okay.
if that does happen, I will blow the fattest load. I really want a DLC, man.
You know what I want?
What?
That really will never happen?
Red Dead 1 Remaster?
Well, yes. And it's related to Red Dead. Red Dead 2 Undead Nightmare.
Yeah.
I want Undead Nightmare 2, goddammit.
I do as well. I do as well. Yeah. Sad times, man. Sad times. Chris, you want to tell me about some expensive socks, please? I've been looking at that on the notes.
Okay.
And I really want to know what's so expensive about these socks.
So, in my new job, right? Any new job has like adjustments you have to make, right? So I'd be standing a lot in my new job, like in one place. Because like in my other job, I would just walk around a lot. But at here, I'm like kind of standing in one place a lot. So I was noticing some like weird like swelling in my lower legs. I'm like,
yeah, you told me about that.
That's weird. So I went to the doctor about it, and he was like, yeah, just don't be standing. And maybe wear compression socks. And, okay, so I'm searching around. I'm at the store. I was at Target, actually. It's like, all right, there's got to be some compression socks here. No compression socks. So I went down the street. I go to CVS. I look around. Okay, yeah. And they have one pair. Large men's compression socks. And a single pair, one, $23. $23,
That's
Jordan,
a price.
for a pair of socks. Most expensive pair of socks I ever bought.
You bought them?
I had to buy them. It's a medical thing. I need them.
He goes, yeah, man, super expensive. So now I own one.
Well,
That's funny.
yeah, I need them.
No, it's a necessity, yeah.
So
But
I'm not gonna not buy them.
The thing about compression socks, right, is can you? Well, this wouldn't really apply to you because you're still. I'm assuming you're still on your dad's health insurance, right?
No, well, yeah, actually,
Okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say I think, at least with like my health insurance through our employer, I would be able to put that on as like a prescription. Like I want to say like a medically required thing. Anyway, we have a card. Whatever. I just forgot. I'm retarded.
Okay.
No,
I mean
that's fucking expensive, dude. That
$23 for a pair of socks, Jordan. And there's a lot of people. I found this out in talking to people who aren't cheap bastards like me. And talking about how expensive like clothes specifically are.
Yeah, clothes are like ridiculously expensive, dude.
So there's gonna be a lot of people who are like, "Oh, that's not that expensive. I buy $23 socks all the time." Because like, as a guy I used to work with, and I would mention like he kind of had expensive tastes in clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I was complaining. I'm like, these Carhartt shirts are like $20 a piece, and they're good shirts, so I continue to buy them.
But they're $20
a piece, so I don't buy them very often.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's a cheap shirt, $90, $50 for a shirt. Like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? My whole fit is worth like maybe $40.
That's including my phone.
Yeah.
Imagine. Yeah.
I get the fucking the Obama phone.
Yeah. Obama phone. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I hate buying clothes. It's the one thing that I'm like, I don't want to fucking pay for this.
I'm annoyed that I have to pay for clothes.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I really don't want to purchase clothes today.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
I
gotta wear something.
I like waited until all my pants had knee holes in them.
Yeah, like I had to wait until I couldn't not buy clothes.
Basically, yeah. Like when the summer comes around, like I think it was last summer, I went to buy shorts, and I was like, you know what? This year I'm gonna invest in all new shorts, so I have shorts. And then I looked at the prices, and I just immediately like turned and left. And was like, I'll buy shorts next year.
Well, and that's
so now I have to.
Another thing is, seasonal. I'm bad at getting rid of clothes. So you see around me, I got clothes over here, clothes over there,
clothes over here, over there,
clothes
over
that
there.
I just haven't gotten rid of, because I'm like, I paid for these things. I don't want to get rid of them. But I have to at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, like, I have, like, I'm convinced, that all men are like this, in a way. Because I'm like this, my dad's like this. We just hoard shit. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I have a lot of computers that I've spent various amounts of money on that I just hoard. I just have them.
You have them in the corner, literally.
Yeah, I just have them.
Your dad's barn.
My dad has tools. Like, there's a lot of tools. Like, it's just like, it's a man thing to just hoard a shit. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I paid for it. Yeah. I don't care if I'm not using it. I paid for it.
Yeah, gotcha. Like that Polair fan that does not work, and it has a hole in it from when you punched it two episodes ago. It works for, 30 minutes, and then it goes for 10 seconds, then it's fine?
Yeah. That's the only reason I got a new fan. I buy a new fan, like, bi-yearly. Like, every, like, couple of years I buy a fan. Actually, this one that I have currently, knock on wood, has held up pretty well.
Yeah. I
usually spend, like... As another thing that I ran into, same person that I worked with, he said he has an $800 Dyson fan. He spent $800 on this fan.
A fan? Like, not even like an AC. Fan?
It was a fan. It was a heater as well.
Okay, I guess that's kind of cool.
And also it was also like an air purifier. But it was $800.
That's kind of cool, but I don't know if that's
But to get those things independently of each other, that's like $200 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying you would get them all individually,
instead of one unit.
And he goes, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I replaced my fan, like just a fan like this. I replace it every 2 years. And he goes, well, yeah, that's why I'm not gonna have to replace it. But I'm spending $40 every 2 years.
He also says that like his fan isn't going to break almost this quickly. Like, if he utilized his fan just as much as you do, then it would probably maybe last another year. And
that's a very good point. Like, I run my fan like crazy.
just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's fucking not susceptible to breaking.
Like, I have my fan on every, like, almost the entire day.
Arguably, his fan is probably more susceptible to breaking because there's more shit going on.
That's yeah. That was something one of our electronics teachers said in high school. He said, like, anytime something's like an all-in-one, it's just a shittier version of the things that it is.
Yeah, it's never as good as those independent items.
Like how he mentioned it was like a multimeter is like it's a shittier version of like just a dedicated voltmeter.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, but it
like
works.
Yeah,
but it's just not. If you need precision, you get a voltmeter.
Exactly, that just does voltage.
Voltage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a mediocre fan heater and air purifier. Yeah. When you can just get dedicated ones for less money.
That are mint.
That are much better because they're designed to solely be that thing.
Yeah.
Like my fan, I always just buy the biggest fan I can find.
Yeah, largest.
I just buy the biggest fan, the most CFM I can find, and I'm like, yeah, I want that one. Mm-hmm. And this was pretty good. I forget what brand that one is, but it's good. I recommend it. I don't know what it is, but I recommend it.
Yeah, buy it, guys. Not sponsored. But I'm done.
Are you?
I think so.
You sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're sure?
Yeah. I mean, I could go on a bit more, but there's no point, man. All the fun stuff's done, I'm pretty sure.
The funny has left.
The funny has left the building.
All right, that's the end of the show. That was the 33rd. That's a palindrome, Jordan. The same forward and backwards. 33. If you put it backwards, it's 33.
Okay.
Because you can swap them. Because it's two threes.
Why didn't you bring this up during the 22nd or the 11th?
Because I'm retarded.
Yeah, that was the 33rd episode of the Synapse Misfire Podcast. Next episode, the 34th, we should have a Godzilla vs. Kong spoilercast, right? Perhaps.
What date does it fall on? Probably then.
It's going to be like 2 weeks from now. Or, 4 weeks from now. From this day. 1 month from now.
A month.
But the episode will be recorded 2 weeks from now. So we should, perhaps. But regardless, you can contact us at Synapse Misfire, pm.me, via Instagram DMs, comments, questions, concerns, death threats.
I think I got heartburn. Continue. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So if he dies, is what it is. Be sure to check us out on all major platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, and of course the handy dandy, multi-talented, but not quite as good as solely proprietary for that one purpose, RSS Feed. Import it. Favorite favorite podcasting app.
Or a lot of things some like real nerd people do is they set up their own RSS feeds. I watched a video once about a terminal-based RSS feed where you load in all these RSS links and it feeds it to you in a terminal window. That's some like advanced Linux shit.
Yeah. You're talking about, like, what do you mean by feeds it in a terminal? Like words?
Yeah, you type in the little command and it feeds you all this information in a terminal. And then you're like, I want to open this link, and it would open it in a terminal-based browser.
That's so weird. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Signing out.
Get out of my house. Now really get out of my house. You're saying rude things?
I'm on my way out, dude. Just let me get my stuff, bitch.
No, I don't think I will.